In a remote forest lived a man all alone. He had nothing but his white beard, his stuff, and his memories. One day he heard a sound that broke the quietude. It was a scream. My leg! My leg! Curious, he followed the sound and saw a beautiful young woman sitting under a tree in pain. What happened? He asked. I twisted it, she replied, tears streaming down her face. Can you help me? Please leave me alone. Seeing her in distress, the old man couldn't bear to leave her there. He walked up to her, laid his bag and said, It's all right. I'll stay with you tonight, but I'm too old to sit comfortably. We'll have to spend the night here on the ground. He looked at him with gratitude and said, Thank you very much, Hakim. I won't be able to survive without you. The Hakimi didn't understand why she called him. But seeing no other option, he lay down on the grass with his staff beside him. The woman looked at him for a moment, then slowly closed her eyes and fell asleep. The Hakim up in the middle of the night. He opened his eyes and saw the woman kneeling beside him. Her face was wet with tears, up at him with love and sorrow in her eyes, unable to bear her pain. The Hakim asked, My child, what troubles you so much? Why crying? She wiped her tears and replied, Nothing, father, just a bad dream. I'm sorry if I disturbed you. Go back to sleep. But the Hakim wasn't convinced. He knew something was bothering her, but she wouldn't tell him what it was. He tried to ask again, but she knew it was nothing and tried to go back to sleep. The Hakim understood that she needed someone to talk to, so he put his arm around her shoulder and said, You can tell me. I'm here to listen. Touched by his kindness, she leaned against him and whispered, You know, Father, I haven't warmth and affection in a long time. Being alone is hard, especially when you have no one to turn to. That's why I did what I did yesterday. I wanted to get close to you, to feel human warmth, even if it meant lying. The Hakim was taken aback by her words. He hadn't thought she was lying to him. He asked, What do you mean? What thing about? About my leg. I didn't hurt it. I just wanted to be close to you. I'm sorry for it, but I've lost all patience. I can't stand being alone anymore. Hearing this, Hakim felt a surge of sympathy for her. He realized that she was just a lonely woman, someone to talk to. He stroked her hair and said, You're not alone anymore. I'm here for you. As he spoke, the first dawn started to appear in the sky. The Hakim looked up and said, Oh, it's getting late. I think it's time for me to go. The woman clung to him and begged, No, please, don't go. Father, I don't want you to leave me alone. Her sudden change of heart surprised him. He couldn't refuse her request. He knew she needed him, and he couldn't just leave her there all alone. So he agreed to stay with her a little longer. After a while, the sun began its descent, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The Hakim sat quiet under the tree, lost in thought. The woman watched him, a mix of love and sadness in her eyes. She knew she had to do something to keep him there. And soon, as the night deepened, she started crying softly. The Hakim rushed to her side, asking what was wrong. She looked at him, streaming down her face, and said, Father, I think I'm going to die. He held her hand, trying to comfort her, but she pushed him away and stumbled forward. Save me! She cried. I don't want to die! The Hakim panicked, thinking she might actually collapse. He quickly splashed water on her face, poking through her eye. And it worked. She opened her eyes and sat up, weak but alive. The Hakim, relieved, helped her back to the tree, leaned against it, her breathing shallow and slow. As minutes turned into hours, she gradually recovered. Then, surprising him, he sat up and said, I'm feeling a lot better now. Thanks to your help, Father. Seeing her regain consciousness, I felt a sense of accomplishment. He cared for her, wiping the sweat off her forehead and talking to her in a soothing voice until he fell asleep. As the night wore on, the Hakim grew weary and lay down beside her. Before drifting off, he gently kissed her forehead. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had seen her somewhere before, but he couldn't quite place it. When the sun peeked through the trees, the Hakim woke up to the sound of birds. He stretched, feeling stiff from sleeping on the ground. Beside him, the woman slept peacefully. He watched her for a moment, wondering about her past and how living in the forest alone. Suddenly, she stood and looked at him with a sad smile. Good morning, Father, she said softly, and smiled back, feeling an inexplicable connection. Good morning! As the day progressed, the Hakim noticed and didn't seem to want him to leave. Every time he mentioned going, she would try to persuade him to stay a little longer, though he couldn't understand why. He found himself agreeing to her requests. After a while, the Hakim decided it was time to go home. He stood up, feeling the stiffness in his old bones. I really must leave now, he told the woman. Take care of yourself. With that, he started walking away, suddenly called out, Father, wait! She looked around, then gestured for him to follow her deeper into the forest. The Hakim, curious, obeyed. A few moments later, they arrived at a small hut, nestled among the trees. Come inside, the woman beckoned, opening the door. The Hakim hesitated for a moment before entering. As he stepped inside, he noticed that the room was bare except for a wooden chest in the corner. The woman walked up to it, sat down on the floor, and started crying. The Hakim sat down beside her, placing his hand on her shoulder. Why are you crying? What's wrong? At him, her eyes filled with sadness. Father, do you remember this place? Do you recognize this tree outside? The thought for a moment. No, I'm sorry, child. I don't remember. The woman sighed. Long ago, my mother used to bring me here. We would play hide and seek under this tree. When I got tired, rested in this hut, I was very happy back then. I wish I could go back to those days. The Hakim listened, his heart aching for the woman's sadness. He wished he could help her, but he couldn't remember anything about her or her mother. The woman suddenly stopped crying and looked up at the Hakim. Actually, Father, I'm not your daughter. I never was, but years ago, I loved a man who had a daughter your age. She came to this hut and wrote something on the wall. I still remember what she wrote. It says, happiness is a journey, a destination. At that time, I thought I was the happiest woman in the world. The woman paused, lost in her memory. She left home when she was 17. She wanted to see the world and promised to return. However, she never did. Instead, she married a stranger and returned to find both me and her father gone. Now I'm old and alone, and the only thing that keeps me going is the hope of dining with her someday. The woman looked at the Hakim with tears in her eyes. Father, I'm sorry for deceiving you. I did it because I'm my father, the man who left us all those years ago. The Hakim stared at her in disbelief. Could this woman be his daughter? It seemed impossible, yet the resemblance was striking. Suddenly, he remembered a similar birthmark on her leg, the same one shown him earlier. Hakim embraced the woman, tears streaming down his face. You are my daughter! I can feel it. The woman hugged him tightly, whispering, I knew you would recognize me someday, Father. The Hakim and his daughter spent the whole day talking their memories and catching up on each other's lives. It felt like no time had passed at all. Finally, the sun began to set. They decided it was time to go home. Hand in hand, they walked out of the forest, leaving behind the old memories and embracing the new. As they disappeared into the distance, the forest seemed to be less lonely.